Hey, Pirate fans, we have another fun topic for tonight. The Pirates are now facing historic struggles. Today they were two hit in a 4-0 loss to the Cincinnati Reds, and their batting average are now hitting 1884 lows. That's right. The Pirates are on an ignominious pace. They're batting 184 as a team. They're only hitting 173 on the road. They're scoring just barely over 3 runs a game and 2.4 on the road. They're striking out almost 9.5 times a game. They're barely getting 6 hits a game. They've put together 2 or more hits only 22 times in 152 innings. They are literally completely a team of full replacement players, meaning you could go out and get the average baseball player making $770,000 a piece. Rookies, no-name guys who are just average ho-hum players. And you could play better than this 2025 edition of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's no surprise. What did Ben Cherington think? He went out and did literally nothing of consequence to improve this team's hitting. He traded for a guy with a bum wrist and Spencer Horwitz for first base. He waited till way late in the offseason to sign Tommy Pham to play left field. They did nothing else. Oh, I'm sorry. They signed Adam Frazier. They brought back Andrew McCutchen. These aren't 25-year-old players anymore, guys. The Ben Cherington era has been horrific. The team now has a 184 batting average, the worst in franchise history, clearly. But look at, last year, they had the 9th worst in team history, the 14th worst in team history, the 4th worst in team history, the 11th worst in team history, and the 3rd worst in team history. That 2020 team could have been, over the course of 162 games, if it wasn't for COVID, that could have ended up being one of the worst teams in baseball history. And now we're staring in year 6 of the Cherington era with a batting average at 184 and nosediving. They're literally just behind the 1884 St. Paul Saints, and for worst, the 1884 Wilmington Quicksteps at 175. Bob Nutting, you made the decision to give Cherington and Derek Shelton year 6. And here we are, mid-April, and we're talking about historic pace, historic, embarrassing things. Yet you, Bob Nutting, talk about being the steward. And what you're really talking about isn't the results on the field. You're talking about being the steward about financial. You're talking about making sure the team, air quote, doesn't go back into bankruptcy. Well, Bob, the team's still losing money. DK Pittsburgh Sports has reported. I've done some analysis. You lost money last year because you don't generate enough revenue. You know why? Because no one trusts your word. They think you're a liar. They think you're dishonest. They think you're a cheat. You and your family, Bob Nutting, have been involved in the ownership since 1996. And yet here we are in year 6 of the Cherington era, as if year 5 wasn't enough of an indicator of where this was heading in the offseason of nothingness. It's now the House of Horrors. PNC Park is going to be littered with replacement level players. Correction, let me say that again. They've got players worse than replacement level. Worse. This can't continue. Bob Nutting, you need to fire Travis Williams for his failure to provide you a reason that would have been enough to fire Cherington and Shelton, and then come into this season with what he's overseen, with the failure with the Bucko bricks, with the horrific lack of communication around the Clemente wall and the ad. It could have just been a simple phone call to the Clemente family, like a simple press release of, hey, we're doing this in furtherance of generating revenue. It's still the Clemente wall. Hey, fans that bought Bucko bricks in 1999, by the way, that raised money for the Clemente Foundation. Hey, fans, come pick up your bricks. They didn't even have the records for that. So I'll ask, if you didn't have the records, how are you creating a new display? Because you would need the records of all of those phrases that were on the bricks. So if you have the names and words on the bricks, how did you not have the names associated with the acquisition of those bricks, the sale of them? This isn't the first time these bricks have been replaced. And then you replace it with that concrete out there. Like, what are you doing? Travis Williams, see you later. We don't even say anything more about Cherington or Shelton. Shelton's going to be the worst manager in history if this keeps up. He's only like a few places away from worst ever from a winning percentage. So there's no happiness in Pittsburgh when it comes to the baseball team. It's unfortunate. This is year 6. Not a single good player has been developed by Ben Cherington's development team. Changes need to be made. I fully expect as early as tomorrow that Cherington could be fired along with Shelton. I would expect Bob Nutting to not waste too much more time. I know from reading some things and information that he is likely already on this path. He's already reviewing what gone into, who made those decisions as it relates to the Bucko Brick controversy. So if you're Travis Williams, you might be the first to go, but it may not take long for the Cherington and Shelton era to end. It could happen as early as tomorrow, but more than likely, it's probably going to be around May 1st. I would guess that Nutting spends the next 2 weeks doing his due diligence, which is the right thing to do, but you didn't really need any more than what we saw for the last 5 years. The standings tell you enough. Basic baseball information. Old math. 184. Historic. 1884. The Pirates are well on their way to being the worst hitting team in modern baseball history. And with that, please leave a like if you enjoyed today's episode. Drop a comment. Love to have conversations and enjoy the content we offer here. Please give us a subscription. It's free to do. Until next time, everyone, have a good one.